So it was just recently where Netflix tweeted out this image of the silver and steel swords with a caption that simply said, Geralt's journey is just beginning, confirming that they are indeed ordering and renewing a second season for The Witcher, which says a lot. It is a pretty big deal that this is happening before the first season is even out, and I think it tells us a lot just in terms of I think we can gather that Netflix fully believes in this project. They are fully behind it. They are confident in what Lauren and her team and the cast and everybody who is involved in this endeavor has created here, and that they are fully invested in the future of this show. And I think that says a lot, because obviously this move could easily backfire on them. They could be shooting themselves in the foot if the quality of this show is not good, if it's not to what people are, hoping this show could possibly be. Right? If public opinion does come out when this show does release, and public opinion is, the show is bad, then yeah, this decision to renew it before the first season is even out will definitely look questionable. But I don't know. I think the fact that they are doing this before season 1 is even out just tells me that they know it's good. You do not do this. You do not renew for a season 2 before the first season is even out if you are not 100% sure that this is going to resonate and that this show is going to land. So yeah, I think this is a very big deal, and I'm even more excited about this. So now, of course, with the news of a season 2 is underway, I believe they begin filming in early 2020, and it is scheduled for release in 2021. So with this news, I began immediately kind of speculating and wondering, okay, what are they going to cover for season 2? Obviously, I desperately want to see how they're going to tackle the Thanad Island coup, that whole moment in Time of Contempt. So that obviously, I wonder when exactly we're going to see that. But let's backtrack a little bit, because season 1, I've always been of the belief that they're going to end the season with, or at least get to the point of the Something More short story where Geralt and Ciri meet in Broccolon, and then they're reunited at Yaruga, I think is the merchant's name or something like that, at his little cottage or whatever, and the law of surprise is enacted there. So I feel like this season is going to end off with those 2 short stories. I fully expect season 2 to probably delve into Blood of Elves, that storyline, because there is a lot in terms of Ciri training at Kaer Morhen, introducing us to the other Witchers, Eskel, Lambert, Cohen, Vesemir, Triss. This would also be Triss's introduction, even though she is in season 1. But we're definitely going to get more of that character in Blood of Elves if season 2 is going to be tackling that book. And then of course the latter half of that book is Ciri training under Yennefer. So I definitely expect that to be the majority of season 2, and then you can pepper in short stories like for instance, the Essie Davin short story I think would be perfect for season 2, because this is still that short story in particular. This is still the point in the novels where Geralt and Yennefer are still kind of split up. So I think it would definitely fit to have that in season 2. So you can do that short story, possibly the Eternal Fire short story as well. Introduce us to Novigrad, right? That, like, this is essentially the melting pot of the Witcher universe in terms of culture and art and just all these moving parts coming together, and religion as well, just coming together into this one massive city. I think would be really, really cool to see that. 'Cause I don't believe that they're going to show Novigrad in season 1. I could be wrong, but I think we could definitely get introduced more into, just in terms of expanding the universe, just showing more locations of the Witcher world, the continent itself. That would be a really prime opportunity to introduce Novigrad. And so I guess I've already touched a little bit on Thanat Island. Like, that is the single most, well, I don't know, I would have to think about it, but let's just say that's one of the moments that I want to see more than anything in tackled in this entire show. Because that moment is, to me, like the red wedding of the Witcher universe. Like, that is this moment in the books that has this, like, just enormous ripple effect on the rest of the world. It is that huge of a moment for this series, and so of course I cannot wait to see that. I don't think it's gonna be in season 2, just as I don't think this would probably be the second thing that I want to see more than anything. Is the introduction of Geralt's Hanza, right? The kind of fellowship of heroes, I think Geralt calls them, which is comprised of the Witcher himself, Dandelion, Regis the Vampire, Milva, the Half-Dryad, Kahir, the Nilfgaardian, who swears he isn't a Nilfgaardian, and Angoulême, right? Like I said, I want to see those characters so bad. But we do know that in season 1, Kahir is in fact in this first season. He's going to be primarily associated with the Fall of Sintra storyline, which is interesting because we don't get to see that until kind of flashbacks really in until Blood of Elves. So the fact that we're seeing it in season 1 continues to show the fact that, this isn't going to be a one by one, beat by beat adaptation of the novels, right? There are definitely going to be some deviations here and there. Prime example being Ciri and Yennefer being introduced so early, right? The fact that Yennefer, we're going to get a little bit more on the core of that character, a little bit more of her backstory, seeing her training under Tissaia, seeing Yennefer as a hunchback. I think that obviously goes to show, like, yeah, there's definitely going to be some deviations. There's going to be some room to explore these characters a little bit deeper, in some ways that Sapkowski never really got to do in his books, which I find really fascinating. I'm going to be really interested to see what they do specifically with Ciri and Yennefer in that aspect. So yeah, like we like I said, Kahir is going to be in this first season, and honestly, I think the next Hanza member that we are most likely to see is Milva. Like, obviously we don't get to see her until Baptism of Fire, which canonically is the 3rd book in the actual saga novels. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see her in this first season, not as like some major character or even someone who has, any kind of anything to do with the story that's going on. Because we have seen, that Broccolon will be featured in this first season. We've seen Lady Ithne, we've seen the Dryads. I would not be shocked if we see Milva off in the background, just maybe, talking to some Dryads, or maybe going out on a run to, bring some Dryads back to the forest, since, that was her job. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't even hear her talk, but if we just see her existing in this forest, just doing her own thing, right? To kind of add to the fact that, this is a living place, right? This is a place that exists independent from what Ciri is doing at the moment, or something like that, right? So definitely, I'm not saying that I expect to see Milva in this first season, but I wouldn't be shocked. Now, in terms of season 2, do I expect Milva or any of the other Hanza members to be prominently featured? I really don't think so. I don't think that stuff is going to be touched on until like the later seasons, until like season 3 and 4, until we get into that rescue kind of series arc of the novels. But again, man, that's what's so exciting about this, because you can't really tell with this series, since there are going to be so many changes from the novels, and little changes here and there. Like, for all intents and purposes, man, they can introduce Regis in this first season if they wanted to. I don't think it would really make sense, but they could totally do that, because this isn't going to be a beat by beat adaptation of the novels, right? So they really have a lot of creative room to twist and bend things, and keep things unexpected for people who have read the books, which I find really exciting, because I feel like I know a lot that's going to happen, but at the same time, it's like it also feels like I'm going into this sort of blind, because I don't know exactly everything that they're going to do. So for all intents and purposes, yeah, they totally could introduce Milva in the second season, or Regis, or Angoulême even, right? Who knows? It's keeping me on my toes, and I don't know, I find that kind of exciting. So yeah, definitely, if I had to guess, I would definitely think season 2 is the introduction of the Blood of Elves novel. I think season 1 is perfectly set up to end off with Ciri and Geralt riding off to Kaer Morhen to meet the other Witchers, and that is where season 2 is going to pick up with that storyline. And I definitely think we're going to see short stories like the Essie Davin one, possibly the Eternal Fire, because in this first season we are getting the Last Wish, we are getting the Bounds of Reason, and a Question of Price, I believe. So definitely, to kind of fill in some of the gaps for each season, you need those short stories. And yeah, I think we can definitely see some of that for the follow-up season. But I'm excited nonetheless, man. We're almost there, and the cast and Lauren are on a press tour right now. People have seen screenings of The Witcher already, which is crazy, and the first reactions and impressions are really positive, man. The OST, the soundtrack sounds damn good. Like his Geralt's theme song as well. I've been listening to that on repeat all day. We're almost there, guys, and I'm pretty excited, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I will see you guys again for more Witcher content. Peace.